Forget that spinning globe sitting on your desk for a second. What would actually happen if our planet was a flat disk? We've all seen the wild theories online, right? But when we literally break down the physics of a flattened Earth, the reality is absolute mind-bending chaos. Let's dive right into this explainer and see how crazy things would get.
Just imagine waking up tomorrow in a reality where the fundamental rules of nature are flipped completely upside down. The weather, gravity, honestly, even just taking a simple walk outside would become utterly alien. If the Earth truly was flat, the immediate physical consequences wouldn't just be weird, they would be absolutely staggering.
For starters, let's say you step out your front door. You'd look around and see trees tilting bizarrely, fighting against a dramatically shifted gravitational pull. Since gravity wouldn't just pull straight down anymore, every single plant would be forced to grow diagonally, constantly battling this crazy sideways tug.
And, well, it's not just the forests that are fundamentally broken here. All of our vast oceans, along with literally every drop of rain, snow, and hail, would be violently dragged toward the absolute center of the map. It all converge into one unbelievably massive, super concentrated ocean right in the middle of the disk.
Meanwhile, if you look way out at the very edge of this disk, you'd find a towering 45-meter-tall guardrail of ice. According to the flat Earth models out there, this is Antarctica. It basically acts as a massive frozen barrier guarding the perimeter, theoretically keeping you from falling straight off into the cosmic void.
Now, here's where the whole thing gets super interesting. Gravity itself. We know gravity pulls matter together equally from every side, which is what creates a sphere. To dodge this, flat Earth theories usually disclaim gravity doesn't even exist. Instead, they imagine a pancake-shaped Earth constantly accelerating upwards. But physics says you can't just increase speed forever in space without eventually burning up like an actual burnt pancake.
But okay, what if we apply real science to a flat disk? We get something entirely different. The center of gravity immediately shifts to the dead center of the plane. So instead of pulling you straight down to the core like we're used to, gravity actually pulls you sideways. And the crazy part? The further you move toward the edge, the stronger that sideways pull becomes.
Because of this, you could never even walk to the edge to see that famous ice wall in the first place. Trying to move outward would literally feel like climbing an endlessly steep, impossible mountain. You'd be pulled back to the center so forcefully that reaching the perimeter would be a complete physical impossibility. And that exact same sideways gravity, it creates a massive atmosphere problem. It would drag all of the Earth's breathable air straight to the middle. If you lived near the edge, somewhere like Australia, you'd find yourself in a total vacuum, no oxygen at all. On the flip side, anyone living near the center in the Arctic would be instantly crushed by the unimaginable weight of the entire planet's atmosphere piled right on top of it.
So as you can see, this builds into an apocalyptic chain reaction. Without a spinning spherical core, we instantly lose our geomagnetic field. And without that protective magnetic bubble, there's absolutely nothing to hold our atmosphere in place. Our air would just spill out into the vacuum of space, leaving us totally exposed to deadly solar radiation. Human survival would literally require a permanent planet-wide life support system.
But what about the sky above us? Well, according to the flat Earth model, both the sun and the moon are relatively tiny. We're talking just 50 kilometers in diameter. Instead of being these massive celestial bodies millions of miles away, believers argue they're just hovering right over our heads. If the sun actually acted like a localized spotlight like that, we'd run into a massive visual problem. You'd be able to see this spotlight from everywhere on the disk at all times, even if it wasn't shining directly on you. Honestly, it would look like a creepy alien abduction beam from a sci-fi movie. This means absolutely no natural day and night cycle. Good luck catching some sleep in a world that never ever gets dark.
To fix this glaring issue, believers suggest the sun would have to actually orbit the entire disk, looping entirely over and under it. But think about that for a second. If it did that, the entire planet would experience daylight at the exact same time and then plummet into night simultaneously. Say goodbye to time zones and seasons, because they'd be gone forever.
Then we immediately hit a cosmic dilemma regarding the sun's size. If the sun kept its gigantic, normal form while orbiting that close to a flat Earth, it would incinerate the entire planet instantly. But if we shrink the sun down to that tiny spotlight size to avoid roasting, we hit the opposite extreme. The entire planet literally freezes to death.
And that freezing outcome? It happens because of some pretty stark math. A flat Earth actually has nearly 2.5 times the surface area of our real round Earth. With all that massive extra flat real estate, A smaller sun means we'd only get about a third of the energy we actually need to sustain life. It's basically a mathematical recipe for an instant ice age.
Even basic, everyday events, like a lunar eclipse, would totally break our understanding of physics. On a globe, an eclipse is just the Earth casting a natural shadow on the moon, right? But on a flat Earth, believers have to invent this mysterious, invisible anti-moon just to explain it away. Or they have to rely on impossibly bizarre celestial alignments just to cast a straight shadow.
Now, for all of this to be true, the cover-up would have to be absolutely mind-boggling. Every single piece of GPS data, every flight path, and millions of satellite images would have to be part of an incredibly elaborate, globally coordinated scam. We're talking about millions of people flawlessly lying in perfect unison, without a single leak.
Which brings us to the real underlying issue in this explainer: cognitive dissonance. It's that psychological state where a person's beliefs are completely inconsistent with reality. It's exactly what happens when believers are confronted with undeniable, hard physical data that completely shatters their worldview, yet they stubbornly refuse to let go of the whole flat Earth concept.
The reason this idea still persists today is pretty simple. We are constantly bombarded with pseudo-evidence. In our highly digital world, slickly produced content and powerful online echo chambers can make absolutely any wild theory look incredibly convincing. Well, provided you're willing to abandon basic logical thinking, that is.
It really highlights the terrifying power of our modern media landscape. I mean, think about Nicholas Copernicus, the brilliant astronomer who popularized the idea that the Earth orbits the Sun 500 years ago. If Copernicus had spent 10 hours today watching slickly edited flat Earth conspiracy videos on his phone, who knows? Even he might have fallen down that digital rabbit hole.
And hey, if you think a flat Earth is wild, the internet has even more bizarre concepts just waiting for you. Just wait until you dive into the fringe theories about a donut-shaped Earth. Yeah, you heard me right. But to spare our collective sanity for today, we'll absolutely have to save the donut Earth for another explainer.
So, as we wrap up our analysis of this flattened reality, I want to leave you with a pretty provocative thought. We live in an age of endless digital information, right? Facts and fictions blur together on our screens every single day. So ask yourself honestly, in a world completely overflowing with data, what pseudo-evidence are you falling for?